we go this route. Michael Borky, big fan of Hugh Freeze. Tell me why, Michael Borky.
He's making a great point today. I really like, and this is something that we've talked about on the show before, but it's more been like, off-season chatter. Here's an idea, but a coach of his reach, if you will, talking about this so openly, I think is a nice step in the direction to get something like this done. Here is Hugh Freeze.
So we can play the clip, right?
Yeah, we can play the clip. Here's Hugh Freeze talking about what spring games should actually be.
The solution is allow us to scrimmage somebody on a day, another team. And I think everybody would get out of it exactly what they want. And if everybody's doing that, then, and let's adopt a charity to give all the proceeds to. Let's take foster care in the state of Alabama or orphan care in the state of Alabama, and let's Alabama play Troy and we play UAB or vice versa or whoever, I don't care, or Alabama State or whoever, and people will come see that. And you're decreasing your injury possibilities by 50%. And coaches are smart enough to control, we're not going to hit each other's quarterbacks. We practice that way. And if you want to put a blue jersey or a different jersey on somebody that's don't take to the ground, we can do that. And I just think it would be great for the sport. I think it would be awesome. NFL gets to scrimmage against others. High schools get to scrimmage against each others. And I just, for the life of me, I don't understand why we haven't gotten to that point where we can pull that off.
There is not one word that came out of Hugh Freeze's mouth there that I disagree with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a home run, it's a grand slam if you choose to go down this road. Mm-hmm. Seriously, I love everything about it. And Borky's right. This is something that we've talked about in the past. Not everybody has to participate.
Yeah.
But everybody has the opportunity to participate if they are so inclined.
Yeah.
If you want to put a restriction on it where it has to be a school in your state,
yeah,
so be it.
I mean, you got it covered here in Mississippi.
Not an issue in Mississippi. If you want to say, well, we don't have enough programs and you want to say there's a regional restriction, okay, well, whatever. But don't water this thing down with a bunch of rules.
Right.
Let your rules be that the two head coaches, the two athletics departments will agree on a format. They'll agree on a date. They'll agree on a ticket price. Whoever the visiting team is will be compensated for their travel and for their expenses. And beyond that, any money that's raised, I love what he says. I mean, Hugh and Joe Freeze were involved with the two things that he mentioned very prominently in their time in Mississippi, with foster care and orphan care. Mm-hmm. Raised a lot of money, donated a lot of money, tip of the cap to them for that.
Yeah.
And that clearly is a cause that is close to their hearts. And it's a cause that he is continuing to trumpet in Alabama. I would assume that he did as well when he was in Virginia in his time at Liberty. And his point about injury risk going down by 50%.
That's true.
You're like, well, what's the math on that? Well, you only got half your team playing at a time.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, in reality,
everybody thuds.
And in reality, you're going to play your starters a couple series, and then you can get the young guys work.
Yeah.
So if somebody down the depth chart gets hurt, it's not great for them, but you're not losing your starting quarterback. You're not losing your starting cornerback, in all likelihood.
I especially like him bringing the NFL into this, because not only do they play 3 preseason games, they also have joint practices where they scrimmage and they'll do just like lineman drills against each other. If the $11 billion a year NFL that has $120 million defensive tackles for example, and $500 million quarterbacks and $150 million wide receivers, if they can do this multiple times a year before the season begins and do it comfortably and avoid injuries, then college can too. I love that point because of how much is at stake in the NFL. You would think they would be the ones that were, oh, no, we can't have these scrimmages because Patrick Mahomes might get hurt. The Chiefs will have a joint practice with somebody in 3 preseason games. They figure it out.
Yeah. And like I said, in the state of Mississippi, how easy is it? You just rotate Jackson State, Alcorn State, Mississippi Valley State between State, Southern, and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Easy. It's done.
And you can either rotate them or you can say you're going to pair up. I mean, if Ole Miss wants to say, hey, let's do a deal with Alcorn State for the next 3 seasons, you'll come to our place in the spring. You want to do it one? I don't care. What I mean, the details, somebody else can figure those out.
Yeah.
This is
the idea.
It's really, really good. Really good.
And especially to save the FBS games. That's because you mentioned Alcorn and Jackson State and Valley. My fear is, as we've talked about in the past, those games going away. And if those games go away, a lot of programs are going to start cutting teams in sports. And so that could be, I know Hugh mentioned the charity component, which is a great thing, but it could also be a thing that salvages a lot of FBS football. And I know nobody cares about FBS football, but a lot of people do. And a lot of people get free educations and life-altering educations to play football at those FBS programs. And if you take those games away where they go get thumped by Alabama once a year, you're going to lose scholarships, you're going to lose sports, you're going to lose programs. And so if you can preserve that by doing something like this, it would be great for the sport.
What would the crowd look like?
It'd be good. It'd be 40,000. People come for a legit game.
Yeah. Heron and Meridian says Ole Miss against East Mississippi Community College. I think you would have an issue with playing a junior college because of the recruitable players aspect of that. And they lose so many guys for the spring semester. I don't think that would work. Somebody said just another good idea for the NCAA to shoot down, possibly. He brought this up when he was at Ole Miss, too. No arguments here. I agree. This is something that Hugh Freeze has believed in for a long time. That is your college football fix. That's a good one.